correct lenses for you. After that, you can select a frame of your choice. We have a variety of brands in stock, and you will definitely find yours. You can have the full package of frame plus lenses starting from $990 up to more for the most fashionable options. Once you find a frame you like, your lenses will immediately be edged by our lab technician. Within 30 minutes, you will be able to leave with your prescription glasses and a huge smile on your face. How amazing is that? Visit us at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123.
Yes, I mean, Opticalia, they are the sponsors of this program. And of course, if you want to be part of these sponsors, you can call our marketing department. That's 3244444. I mean, for you to be part of this. Now we have the Point newspaper here, and some of the headlines of this Point newspaper reads, I am not an accountant, BCC mayoress, and of course, Bojang vows to win landslide for NPP. Barrow signs performance contract with 3 state-owned enterprises, vows to introduce bill. Judiciary records over 11,000 cases in 1 year. Man in police net for reportedly killing businessman. I mean, that's what we have on the Point newspaper. Julia, that's the voice.
Yeah, that's the voice. And the headlines is Dr. Jain justifies recent cause of machine failure at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. 3 Gambians involved in recent earthquake. That is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs there. And Senegalese presence in Fonyi causes fear for inhabitants. And of course, Bakary Badji will become a reflection of Barrow if he wins the mayoral election. And that is Mamadou Sabali making that statement. And of course, President Barrow says it is no secret that state-owned enterprises play a vital role. So those are the stories.
Yeah, so we have the Integrity newspaper there. Foroya, yes.
And I have Ifan Kanta. Oh, sorry, that's an advert.
Oh, Ifan Kanta.
Lands Minister says Gambia lacks policy on land management. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. Director of Audit for Councils recommends KAC to investigate use of receipts as the latter appears before members of the FPAC. And then there's one here which is not what might appear to be the immediate. It says Turkish delegation visit disaster-prone areas. They're not visiting disaster-prone areas in Turkey. It's actually they're here in the Gambia visiting disaster-prone areas in the Gambia, which is very unfortunate because the day they started their visit here is the day that, of course, we had this devastating and tragic earthquake in their own country. And government signs performance contract with 3 state-owned enterprises. You've already mentioned that. Combo East National Assembly member demands compensation for salt water intrusion on farmlands. That's most unusual. And their editorial is on the trials of the Gambian economy. So that's what I have on.
Yeah, so I mean, well, the biggest headline on the most of the papers is President Barrow. But I'm not going to start with that. But let's look at the judiciary. I mean, the CJ said, I mean, you know, the judiciary records over 11,000 cases in the 1 year. And, you know, every time we are seeing people that are called to the bar as well. I mean, just over the weekend, we've seen the, many lawyers, called to the bar. Yes. What does this mean when it comes to our judiciary system? I think we have a whole lot of lawyers in this country.
Yes, that statement was made at the start of the legal year, and the 11,000 figure is an increase of 30% on the previous year. And so no matter how many lawyers are called to the bar, there are still challenges. There are still capacity challenges in getting cases speedily through the courts. And that also came through in some of the speeches that were made. Yes, more people are going to be called to the bar, but the courts are struggling to cope with the speed. And some of their methods and procedures are quite old-fashioned. Even if you start with a case that starts at the police station, I went when somebody had to give a statement, and to my horror, I saw the policeman get out a book, start writing, longhand. It's like, what? Anywhere else you'd be on a computer typing, you know, laptop or a desktop, you know. So it starts at that sort of, you know, ancient procedure now, really, because things have moved on. And so there are challenges. Yes, 11,000 cases is a lot, and then there's no way they can hear 11,000 cases.
Yeah, it's good that you've mentioned, you know, the old way of doing the thing here in the Gambia. Yeah, I think we should learn to digitalize some of the things that we do. We are still writing on books, we are still writing our reports, we are still writing many things that can be digitalized and, you know, kept for the future.
Yes, I think the Minister for Digital Economy talked about digitalizing and digitizing the system. And I have to be honest, I did laugh, because in a country that doesn't even have stable electricity, I'm not sure how you can digitalize the economy. That has to be the starting point. You know, Julia, I don't know what your views are on this. I mean, things like, you know, the court system and its kind of archaic, you know, way that cases are dealt with.
Exactly. Like during the legal year, the President of the Republic, Adama Barrow, and of course the Chief Justice and the Minister, they all spoke of the need to digitalize the judiciary and of course the judicial systems and the proceedings, because according to them, it's taking a lot of their time to actually process and to be able to have justice for these victims. And, you know, it is evident that most of them really confirm to us that there are cases that have been pending for so many years without getting justice. So they all spoke of the need, and Barrow pledged, you know, that they are going to digitalize his government. They are coming to have a strategy that will really help digitalize the judiciary, and I think that is really a good move. And for the fact that they are also coming up with an hybrid, you know, code for the, you know,
human rights abuses. I think that will also really help reduce the burden on the courts that we have. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was something that the President admitted, that Gambia's laws as they stand would not allow them to try somebody for human rights abuses, which people were like, what? Shock. Same thing happened in Sierra Leone after the Civil War, and you had a hybrid court. Hybrid court meant it was a court made up of Sierra Leonean law and international law. You could do the same in the Gambia, you know, to prosecute people who are responsible for, you know, crimes against humanity and that sort of thing. So it can happen, it can be done, you know.
All right, so now let's proceed to what Barrow said, Julde. He says, you know, Barrow signs performance contract with state-owned enterprises. Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, well, if we pass bills, if we introduce bills, if we don't implement them, you know, they are white elephants.
It's true, and we're good at passing bills and passing legislation that doesn't get implemented. In fact, I don't know whether we're good or we're bad at doing it. But state-owned enterprises typically have been accused of being inefficient. And there's a reason now why they're signing performance contracts. They're going to be monitored, and they have to deliver. Because in some instances, they have to compete with the private sector. And if you're going to compete with the private sector, where for them, if somebody has a private company that's, just for argument's sake, providing GSM services, profit is very important to them. And that governs how, well, if you're government and you're always going to be bailed out by government, you can relax. You can say, oh, we can mess up, government will always bail us out financially. If you have performance contracts, you don't have that luxury of letting things slide. You have to perform to a certain level, otherwise there might be sanctions. Could even
well, you know,
chief executive lose his or her post.
Julde, I wonder, I mean, why does it always happen this way? State-owned enterprises are always lacking behind. I mean, anything that belongs to the state, I mean, it's not taken good care of. I mean, look at the buildings that are owned by the states. Look at certain institutions that are, you know, owned by the states. I mean, they are totally lacking behind.
Exactly, that's not a secret, and it was confirmed that you know, state-owned enterprises were doing even better, much more better in the 90s and the 2000s than even now, when the technology is high and Gambia's economy is really booming. So state-owned enterprises before, if you compare it to some things like GRA, the GRTS, and of course you have the, you know, Social Security and Housing Finance Corporations, you know, the Groundnut Corporation, they were doing great in the 90s and of course 2000s, but now they are not. You ask yourself why, you know, for the fact that technology is really evolving, you know, and, you know, the capacity now it's there, the human resource is there. What is really the problem? You know, but I think one thing that is lacking, it's the fact that there is no innovation and there is no, you know, effective and robust strategic systems, you know, put in place to be able to monitor and of course to put accountability. I think accountability is a problem with the state-owned enterprises for the fact that they are not really, you know, scrutinized, and but with the fact that there is coming a bill is coming for the state-owned enterprises that will really, you know, scrutinize, and that will serve as an oversight function for these state-owned enterprises, that will really make their work more effective and efficient. We just hope that, you know, it kickstarts so that, because like Mr. Ade said, these state-owned enterprises are causing a lot of burden for the government, because anytime they are in, you know, having problems, they will have to be bailed out by the government, you know, and they are not generating enough.
And part of it is because some of them are monopolies. They don't have competition.
Exactly.
And if you don't have competition, then why should you raise your game? You know, and so that.
You know, there was a time I discussed with Jainaba and Mr. Mboj. We talked about maybe privatizing some of the state-owned enterprises, and you know, some of them were not in support of that.
Yeah, I mean, in Britain, it's happened. Even the likes of what is now called BT, British Telecom, they were formerly state-owned enterprises. They were then privatized, and they've become very profitable because they have competition. They have to raise their game, or they die. You know, whilst when you're a state-owned enterprise and you're always going to get bailed out by government, you don't have to raise your game necessarily, because if you underperform, government will always come out with the cash to you know, give you that, you know, injection of and revive you. But if you're out there competing, you have to raise your game or you're dead.
So the story we have here is 3 Gambians involved in recent earthquake in Turkey.
Yes.
You told me that they don't
Turkey.
like Turkey now.
The country asked the rest of the world to stop calling them Turkey, but you have arrogant ones like the BBC who still keep calling them Turkey. The country said, we are Turkey, and that's how we want to be called. So let's respect it. You know, and I argue with my BBC colleagues, like, oh, they said, oh, we've always called them. Yeah, we know you've always called them that. I grew up when Mumbai was always called Bombay. Nobody calls it Bombay anymore. It's Mumbai now, because that is how the Indians want it called, and that's what it is called.
Just like in the case of Côte d'Ivoire and Ivory Coast. And
even, I'm guilty, I keep saying Cape Verde. 5 years ago, they said, please, call us Cabo Verde.
Cabo Verde.
I never call them Cabo Verde, unless on a good day when I'm feeling I want to speak Portuguese. But you know, so you have, it's Turkey, and it's been a tragedy, really, really shocking. Close to 9,000, probably by the time I leave this studio, it would have gone above 9,000 confirmed dead. Unfortunately, the WHO and the United Nations are saying that figure is likely to be much, much higher. I don't even dare say how much higher they said it would, but it's quite a frightening figure. And the reason they gave that is because there are areas where they haven't been able to reach, and they know there's a lot of devastation there. But as you say, Turkey, very cosmopolitan country, so there are people from all countries who are there, including, as we found out, some Gambians. And we're glad that they are safe. But our condolences to the government and the people of Turkey. And Syria, I must add, because Syria are also affected. We have a lot more relations with Turkey than we do with Syria, which is why we concentrate more on Turkey. And they've had many more deaths than Syria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade, for coming.
As always.
And you know, it's always good to have you here.
Always good to be here, even though I'm impersonating MS Bar today.
All right, so viewers, will take a short break. After the break, then we will take a look at International Day of Zero Tolerance to FGM. We'll be talking to Ndeye Rose Sarr, country rep, UNFPA, and Garin Jonathan, the country representative, UNICEF. So we'll be back.
Espas Motors is the largest and most modern auto service in the Gambia. Espas Motors is the only authorized dealer in Sherry, Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz buses, Kia, Ford, Futon Mini and Midi buses, Futon trucks. At Espas Motors, we have qualified professionals who use modern technology to diagnose and repair all brands of motor vehicles. Espas Motor services include auto sales, auto repairs, vehicle painting, availability of high-quality spare parts, towing services. We are reachable at any time. Call Espas Motors on 352222 353-4444 or locate us on the Bertel-Harding Highway. Espas Motors. Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertel-Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system with reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 352222 or 353-4444.
By Komene Woni Network, Burado Holorede, ko Lady Gambia do. QCell continue a dangol on internet service holorado ko Lady Gambia do. E 4G plus internet speed on meng innama no yavi tenon kadi no holora. Watu kala dula e QCell. Nabu QCell SIM card Johnny Yahuka QCell customer care center ji ko Lady do. Fina fitoroda odo 4G plus internet yawudo ko Lady Gambia do. Fi hebgol hen ko labi. Ida wawi nodude QCell customer care e 111 QCell sunyubas menen udditi lawol si wobbe jokki.
QCell GSM company minna yirwa tariata Gambia Bankoka. QCell la 4G plus network ya banko bela mura andung ala internet o tariata sidula saba katambi nyongola. Sound sign yesta 335 kumandi. Yadati kemuna fang 4G sobe wala. QCell Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
Q-Money is back again with its easy-to-use, secure...
You're watching QTV this morning. We are back, and of course, now we will talk to Ndeye Rose Sarr, country representative UNFPA, and Gordon Jonathan Levy, country rep for UNICEF. And of course, there was a joint statement by UNFPA, the Gambia country representative Ndeye Rose Sarr, and UNICEF, the Gambia country rep. And of course, it's about genital mutilation. We all understand, I mean, it's been talked about for a very long time. So now they said it's important for men and boys to stand up and talk about this, you know, to help in the fight. Well, first of all, you're welcome on this platform.
Thank you for the invitation.
And I would like to start with Rose. Let's talk about this. I mean, how far have you gone at the moment?
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. My name is Ndeye Rose Sarr. As you said, I'm the country representative of UNFPA, and I'm here with my colleague and peer, the country representative of UNICEF, because both of us have what we call a joint program on ending FGM by 2030. Here in the Gambia, we really have a several-pronged approach to the issue. So we talk about the legal framework. We talk about engaging women who are doing it in their communities, but we are also now talking about engaging men and boys, as you saw in our joint statement, because we come to understand that although it's a practice that is that concerns women, men and boys have a say, in the sense that in our communities, you know, it's a patriarchal society where men have a lot to say every day, and by using them as agent of change, we believe that we will make more stride and quicker, because our goal is to end it by 2030. It's an ambitious goal, but that's where we want to go.
Well, before Giblah come in here, I mean, I know it's not been an easy journey for you, and of course we've been hearing the advocacy for female genital mutilation for a very long time. What do you think? I mean, it's the contribution of the society when it comes to helping end this. What should the society do?
I mean, first of all, we need to say that this is a social norm, that, you know, it's a traditional practice that was done in the past for, you know, centuries and actually millennia, if you look at it, because there are proof that it was done even before in the mummies in Egypt long ago. But we strongly believe that there are no medical or societal fact that will justify the practice, essentially. So for us, it has to end. It's easy to say that, you know, this is our tradition. Why do you guys want to take it out? We need to make sure that it continues. But from a medical perspective, there are no proof that doing it will help, au contraire. And it's also an issue of bodily autonomy. You know, subjecting a girl at an early age, including sometime on babies, a practice that has no value, and it's a fundamental breach of her human right, we really believe that it has to end.
All right, Giblah.
Okay, Mr. Jonathan, we know that FGM is a very sensitive issue, and of course over 200 million girls and women have undergone the practice, and more than 400 million are at risk of, you know, FGM. Exactly. So what this year's team is talking about partnership, you know, with men and boys. How do we involve men and boys in the fight against, you know, FGM? Absolutely.
Well, that is a critical question, and I think that's the centerpiece of the this year's recognition of the of zero tolerance for FGM as being central. But let me just go back a few steps. Number one, you ask us what are the achievements and what is the progress that we here have achieved, and I think we need to flip that. The question is, what are the achievements and what are the challenges that the Gambia as a country faces? Because this is not our program, this is not our priority, it's the priority of the country. Why? Because the country has not only ratified international human rights conventions that call for the eradication of FGM, that means that these human rights instruments are equally important as any other national legal framework. So the country has an obligation once they ratify these international human rights mechanisms. Number two, the country has its own national legislative framework. So the correct question really is, how far has the country come? The government, civil society, and all other partners, communities, men, boys, girls, and women, in the fight against FGM. And this is where we're making a call for a rapid acceleration and a rapid reframing in the national fight against FGM. Why? If you take a look at the progress that the country has achieved over the past 10 years in the fight against FGM, the annual rate of reduction of the practice of FGM is only 0.3%. That's less than 1%. And the rate of reduction that would be required for the country to meet the 2030 target of complete elimination of FGM would need to be 43% acceleration. So look at that. 0.3, the current rate of reduction, and the required rate of reduction being 43%. that means that the country really needs to accelerate its interventions, its priorities by almost tenfold on a yearly basis. So the first issue that we need to take a look at is that despite the policy framework, despite the laws, despite the fact that the government has committed itself to international human rights instruments as well as the Sustainable Development Agenda 2030, the rate of implementation is just too low. When you look at the absolute numbers, the total number of women who have been circumcised, let's say 10, 20, 30 years ago compared to now today, there is obviously fewer women compared to several years ago, but the practice is still being implemented at a rate which is making progress relatively slow. That's number one. Number two is the fact that what's happening, and this is coming to your question, is that when you look at the average age when girls in the Gambia have been circumcised 30 years ago, which was between the ages of 4 to 5 years, and the average age today, which is now 2 years, the Gambia is one of the countries in the joint program that's practicing FGM at one of the youngest ages. Why is this happening? It's happening because the faster, the younger the age of the girl, the more difficult it is for authorities to be able to detect that it already happened. In other words, we're missing a precious window of time. If the girls are being, the babies in fact, are being circumcised before the age of 2, the window of opportunity for intervention, for detection, for prevention, and for responding to the actual act of FGM, we're losing time. And the window of opportunity to be able to intervene is becoming shorter, and it's becoming shorter by the day. Why men and boys? Fundamental. What we're trying to say is that despite the fact that the traditional cutters, and let me also underscore a point, it's a traditional practice, but it's codified as a harmful practice. There's nothing health-wise, there's nothing biologically safe or conducive about carrying out FGM in young girls, adolescents, as well as in women. So it is true that in many countries, and Gambia is no exception, the traditional cutters tend to be women. And what that has done is to give perhaps men and boys a sense that they have nothing to do with this, that they have no role or responsibility. So what we're calling for is that men and boys need to be able to look out for their sisters, to look out for their mothers, to look out for their cousins, and essentially say, we want to be involved in the fight against FGM. We want to have a voice. We want to say that without us, it will be more difficult to be able to fight for the right of girls to privacy, the right of girls to be able to have a say in what happens to their bodies.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Ndeye, it's the issue. We know that Gambia is among 84 countries to actually outlaw this practice in the Gambia, but we've seen that the Gambia is recording 50% of the cases are female genital mutilation. So as the Gambia, we are looking at it right now, do you think the Gambia as a country will really achieve the 2030 target of combating, female genital mutilation?
Thank you. First of all, it's 74%. It's not
now
50.
Now it's 74.
It has not gone down significantly since. So in the last demographic health survey, we are still at 74% among young girls from 14 to 19. And actually, if you look at from 15 to 49, I think it's around 76%. So we are really far from the target. And as Jonathan had said, we at UNFPA have done an investment case, which we will be launching very soon. And in that investment case, our consultant looked at the rate of FGM, and even with our most ambitious target, we would be able by 2030 to save at least more than 150,000 girls from the practice, but it will not, unfortunately, completely end. But we have to call for men and boys, traditional leaders, religious leaders, to help us and support by saying no to the practice. We don't know of any text or something that is in any of the books that we usually mention, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and the list goes on, where it says that women need to be cut before getting married. Or so when we call for men, it's really for them to also say, you know, I'm a man, I don't want any of my daughters to be cut, and you know, I don't want to marry someone who's cut, and I think it will make a difference. We will continue. We spend around $500,000 a year in the joint program here in the Gambia. We look at communities. We have women who had come out to really say that they will no longer practice it. We can continue to do the ritual, you know, of passage from being an adolescent to young, without having to go through the cut, right? We can continue the traditional practice where we think that it's beautiful and it brings the communities together. But what we don't want is for any young girl to be, it's a violation of her body. Imagine, he said 2 years old. What say do you have in it, what is going done to you? And we also want to call about the medicalization of the act. Because today in several countries, including the Gambia, you will hear, it's been done safely by a health worker. A health worker has the absolute devoir, how do you say that in English, to make sure that no one is cut with her or his own hands.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I think the issue of genital mutilation is complex.
Female genital mutilation.
Female genital mutilation is complex. When you look at it, I've seen a lot of women group coming out on that video, maybe surrendering their razor blades. I mean, you know, sometimes it's easy to talk, but the action itself. What are we doing to make sure these women don't go back at our backs to do this? You understand? And at the same time, like you mentioned, it's important for us to involve religious leaders. Because, I mean, society will take you as a person. If a female is not cut, according to beliefs that they have, that the female is not pure, which I don't think. Because I made it clear that nobody should cut my daughter.
Absolutely.
You understand? Yeah, but I mean, this is how other people are being portrayed in the society. So what are we doing to make sure we just don't go and gather, you know, do some community sensitization, but at the end of the time they go at our backs and still do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I think that during the two-day workshop that was launched yesterday, together with several civil society organizations, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social and Welfare, the Ministry of Health, I think that you know you can call for a lot of things, more partnerships, more enforcement, and enforcement is fundamental from many points of view, and you can call for sustained investment. But at the end of the day, I think we noted this during the international workshop, is that I think the Gambia needs to have a profound dialogue, a conversation involving everybody, the religious leaders from all faiths and from all traditions, the government, civil society organizations, individuals, including the mothers, including the girls who have themselves been subjected to FGM, including the girls and the mothers who were empowered with information to be able to say no, the men such as yourself who are saying, I don't want this to happen to my daughters. So a national dialogue and a conversation, putting the difficult issues on the table. Why is it that after they've surrendered the blade, 2, 3, 4 years after that, they return to the practice? These are the difficult questions that need to be put on the table, and it's for Gambians to be able to identify the answers so that they have solutions that respond to your local dynamics, to your community realities, and the way that tradition in the country has such a strong sway. But that doesn't necessarily mean that because the numbers and the statistics might tell us look, it might be difficult for the country to reach the target. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should shy away from having that difficult conversation. And I think that the country is on the right track. There are numerous civil society organizations that have done an excellent job. We have political leaders who are saying the right thing, but that all needs to be put together so that there is a much more visibility of the fact that we're going to take this forward with action. We're going to enforce the law. We're going to empower communities and individuals to be able to say, look, I know that tomorrow there's going to be a traditional rite with 15 girls. That person has a responsibility to go to local authorities and say so. So we're not demonizing the practice, but the practice has to be criminalized because that is what the law says.
Yes, I'm told the time is up.
No,
you know, we've already run out of time. You know, but I think we would be there one day. You know, we are coming up. You know, at some point for me, there was a time I wasn't thinking that way, but now I think this way. You know, and I know there are many people like me who would also refuse to do such a thing. So as time goes on, society, you know, will get to realize this.
Thank you very much for
thank you.
that.
Thank you for coming on the program, and we appreciate it's the responsibility of everybody to put hands on deck so that we can fight this. Because to me, I think it doesn't have any use. It doesn't have any use. It doesn't make sense. You know, so thank you for coming.
Not at all.
Thank
and
you very
continue
much.
passing that message.
Yes, yes.
Indeed.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll talk to Ebrima Jallow, President of the Livestock Owners Association, and Emmanuel William Mendy, Prevention of Bushfires. We'll be back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. We innovate, others follow.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boost Entertainment. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm.
Medicalia is a high-quality clinic from Europe, which is now in the Gambia. Do you have an eye problem? Do you feel a hearing difficulty? Medicalia is here to ease the pain for you. The first and only hearing aid dispensing facility nationwide, where patients can be tested and treated to recover from their hearing loss. Fitted with latest generation equipment, our doctors can provide healthcare assistance for eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Common diseases like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy can be diagnosed and followed up for fast and correct treatment. Make your appointment with the eye or ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist today to relieve any pain you might be feeling, as consultants are available daily. Contact us for more information. Visit us at Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123. Medicalia, premium care, personal touch.
Sunyu Bundle. QCell Sunyu Bundle is the fastest, most reliable and affordable bundle package in the Gambia. Whether you work, go to school, farm, or simply surf the internet, Sunya Bundle is the best package for you. Get bundles from 20 megabytes to 13 gigabytes by just dialing *303# to subscribe.
So we are back, and you are watching QTV this morning. And now we'll talk to Ebrima Jallow, President of Livestock Owners Association, and Emmanuel William Mendy. And, you know, recently we've seen Ebrima talking about recent bushfires, and, you know, we are losing our forest cover. I mean, I think it's not new to those that travel up country all the time. Sometimes you just see, you know, fire coming from you can't even understand how this fire was started. I mean, so, Julde, I think it's important for us to engage Ebrima.
Exactly. Like, what is the contribution of, you know, the Gambia National Livestock Owners Association towards the prevention of bushfires?
Thank you very much, Julde, and then Mr. Bande. We are happy, first of all, to be here and then share with you what we have done in the provincial Gambia. Around on the 13th of last month, the National Livestock Owners, from support from the FAO, in collaboration with the Department of Livestock Services and the Animal Welfare Advocate, went around the country to discuss with stakeholders about the effect of bushfire within the country. You know, in the Gambia, during the rainy season that start from July towards October, November, we have 4 months of rain. And then during the rainy season, our animals are very comfortable. Anywhere you go, you find grass and water is available. But then during the dry season, the 8 months of the dry season, the animals, our livestock actually struggle very hard. Not that we don't have the grass. The grass are dry, fine, and they are good for feeding. But then our major challenges that in other part of the country, people actually establish fire, or people see our forests are burning, and nobody actually participate. So Nalwa feel it wise enough to go around and sit with the local authorities, the chief, the livestock farmers, the VDCs, and other people who are around the area, so that we can discuss about the effect of bushfire. And then before we did that, around October, we trained about 15 livestock members on feed conservation. Because our main issue when we talk about the bushfire is the feed for our livestock. Because our livestock totally depend on this feed. So once it is born, Bande is definitely a problem. And we feel that we need to inform the farmers to try to preserve that forest, to try to preserve that environment where they live, so that the animals can also have a place to graze. So our effect, the farmers, actually, we're trying to give them the message. One, if they cannot protect the forest from burning, let them try to collect the feed and bring them home.
Okay.
That's what we call feed conservation. So the outing was in twofold. One, we talk about the dangers of bushfire. The other one is to encourage farmers to actually gather feed for their livestock. So even the forest is burned, but there is something that they can actually give to their animals during the dry season. But it was a very good one. We were lucky to have the Deputy Director of the Department of Livestock Services and the M&E officer. So it was a very interesting activity that we did outside. And then actually I think farmers believe that what we are telling them is the fact. They have this animal, but people concerned about themselves than this animal. You go around, you see people harvesting their crop, keeping them for their feed, but they leave the other remaining at the expense of the animal, and nobody is there to protect them. So I think it was a very good outing, and I think people actually get the information.
Okay, Mr. Mendy, how is this a threat? How is it really affecting the livestock in the Gambia? And you know, if if it really passes, what do you think will happen to the livestock in this country?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for having me this morning with you here, and together with Mr. Ebrima Jallow, President of the National Livestock Owners Association. You want to realize that livestock production in this country have a challenge on feed. The major challenge is feed. And if we do not have enough feed, it means our production will be dropping drastically. So bushfire is a concern to the department. bushfire will affect the environment, it will affect livestock production, and also the productivity of livestock. So your question is really very important, and I hope listeners out there will take us more as we take them through.
Okay.
Mm. Exactly. So, Ebrima, don't you think we are also just focusing on our livestock, you understand, and also forgetting the plight of maybe the farmers? Have you provided anything different to the farmers to make sure they don't burn the bush? Some of them, they try producing charcoal. Some of them, they try doing other activities. Some of them, it's farming activities. But what are you going to do to compensate that? I think we are focusing on the scorpion and forgetting about the snake.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Bande, in the Gambia years back, not everyone was involved in charcoal burning. You have few people who are involved. Now people take it as a commercial. The people think it's a living things for them. People cut their trees, their mangoes, and then burn these charcoals for sale because there's a good market for it. But here we are concerned as livestock farmers. We don't have something to compensate. That could have been government or any other donors. That they look at their environment. There are a lot of activities, there are a lot of programs that deals with the environment. But here, Bande, we are concerned about our livestock that live within that environment. So their source of feeding is from the forest, is from the environment. Once that place is born, the livestock are affected. Not only livestock, everybody is affected. And then we are discouraging people from burning their environment. Because once you burn the environment, you are killing the pieces that are there. You are killing the trees. You are even destroying many things. But more seriously, that our animals depend in this environment. But here now, not only training, what we are advocating, Mr. Bande, we want the government, donors, to get materials to give it to people within the community. So that once there is a fire, these people will be able to go and control this fire. Because sometimes we have limited fire service within the country. And in the Gambia, the fire service are not much involved in trying to control fire within the forest or whatsoever. They are more concerned about accidents that happen within the community. But when you talk about fire that is happening around, I think their capacity or their operation are not reaching that.
We don't have resources.
Yeah, but then this is where now resources are supposed to be available. But if not, I think the department, Mr. Emmanuel Mendy will talk about that. The department have something that they think they can share with people, with farmers, and then they will able to discourage them from this bushfire.
Okay.
Yes, just to take it from where Mr. Jallow, the president, stopped, what do government have for these farmers or for people who are involved in this bushfire and all of that, so that they can stop the illegal charcoal burning? There are a lot of, first let me bring to the attention of the audience there, the farmers. The Department of Livestock Services is the technical arm of government that looks at the livestock production and productivity in this country. And there are a lot of activities or plan support that help farmers there. Recently, we're talking about FAO support to support government in terms of extension service delivery, in terms of meeting farmers' needs, in terms of supporting farmers, build their capacity. A lot of trainings have been conducted. One, to build the farmer capacity in all aspects. How do you raise animals? How do you protect the environment? How do you manage these animals to maturity and all the value chains? We have this project called the PVF, Peace Building Fund, and it cut across both the livestock sector, the forestry sector, the environment per se. So farmers are trained on how to utilize small resources to make ends meet. The PBF and the AACCP project also support the department in its extension service delivery. And farmers are given some firefighting equipments, right? They are given some production startups, like poultry schemes, small ruminant schemes, and then the development of the cattle tracks, the development of grazing areas, improvement of grazing lands, and also the transhuman corridors. All these are geared towards building farmers' resilience, because once they are able to have good grazing lands, and these animals, these grazing lands are improved. They have the capacity to raise animals, and also the extension service delivery to support in terms of disease control and prevention. Then they will be able to raise these animals to maturity. That is one aspect. Then they will be able to use other natural returns or resources to for their livelihoods. So also we have this support to beekeeping that will help farmers. This is another livelihood. So there are a lot of support that the department and government is actually have in place to support farmer and to encourage them to desist from this bushfire, because it is negatively affecting both the environment and our livelihoods.
Mr. Mendy, you know, for me actually, you know, I don't support things that are about to be implemented until when they are implemented. Sometimes in the Gambia, we are just good at saying things, I mean, putting pen to paper, but the implementation becomes a problem. At the end of the time, we can talk about nice ideas, nice designs, nice plans, but at the end of the time, these things are just may I say. I hope it won't be like that.
Mr. Balde, right? These are activities that are already ongoing. They are not planned activities. These supports are already out there. They have been, it's about 4 or 5 years ago with the ACCP project and other projects. But they are ongoing activities. They are not planned activities to be implemented. All right? All right? They are already in place. So what we want to understand, or what we want farmers to understand, is that we have to move. We cannot continue to say this or that. We cannot continue to shift blame. Also, the department and government has to come out, and we are coming out, we're going out to farmers, build their capacities. So we want farmers to appreciate this technology that is being introduced to them, the support that is accorded. And then also, this is from this bushfire thing, because it's really affecting the environment. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you very much. The reason why I said that, I just want to make sure it's clear and it's done. We need action. We need to move as a country. Yes, you gentlemen will be with us before you leave. We'll be talking to Papa Tunkara, councilor Farafenni Ward. Of course, Adama Ceesay, VDC member Farafenni. About the Farafenni abandoned market. Recently, it's been on our story, and you know, many people are complaining about the shops in Farafenni market. I mean, some of them are using it as a store. You know, a market that is built purposely for women to go and sell. Now people are using them as stores. You know, so it's a serious and complicated matter. So if Papa is on the line, Papa Tunkara, how will I say, how are you in Sarahule?
Hey, wrong number.
Yeah. Papa, you are Tunkara, so Ankirajam.
Majam, but I can speak Sarahule. I can speak Sarahule.
We have your brother, we have another Lasana Tunkara in our office.
Yes, I definitely want to know who Lasana is.
Okay.
I definitely love to know Lasana.
All right.
So I know he's my relative.
Yes,
he's your. Is it morning or afternoon?
This is morning still.
Oh, it's morning short.
Yes,
Papa. It's a pleasure being here with you today.
Papa, let's do this in Olaf. I mean, yes, dañ bëggoon ñu waxtaan affaire marché bi, but I'm told Adam is also on the line. Adam Ceesay, naka nga def?
maa ngi fine Balde, naka suwaati.
Naka yëngu yi lu nekk Farafenni?
Farafenni, alhamdulillah, ngala wu beri.
Very good. Well, let's start with Papa. Julie.
Yes,
Wow, Mr. Tunkara, gis nañ ne recently market bi Farafenni market bi depuis buñ ko constructé ba pare dañ dégg ne dañ ko transform to stores, like instead of vendors use ko as shops dañ ko transform as stores. How far with that? Te gis nañ ne jigéen ñi ñu ngi jànkuwanteel lu bari.
Okay, that's a false information. I can say mun naa wax ne let me speak Wolof language. Loolu xam naa ne amut. Because right now, the folks are almost out for you go job and occupied in Bamba Tenda. so léegi marché boobu noonu dañ ko tabaxoon pour waa Bambatenda yi for a compensation ne you know jaay Bambatenda den bridge bi dafa tànkaayee fuuf yoo xam ne amul fi ñoo jaay amul fi ñoo def so marché boobu was established or built by ECOWAS pour gars yi mën a occupy marché boobu just like Soma lu ëpp Soma so marché bu mu paree constant challenge yi suñu am mooy jafe-jafe mooy ne amul ndox ak kuréel boo xam ne dafa àggatu da destiné loolu moo taxoon maquette yi ubbiwuñ ko woon so léegi bu loolu xewee den waxtaanoo at the governance level ñu ne nañ am ay form pour mun a start pour jox bitig yooyu noonu ñoo xam ne ñoo fa war a nekk bu fekkee ndox ak courant ak safa so NRA ñoom ñoo responsible woon ndox bi ak kuréel bi so almost kuréel bi is almost there te ndox bi moo desoon tuuti waaye amoon na e boogul boo xam ne attached to it was part of the project wane ne ndox bi dafa dimbale gars yi pour loolu so bu loolu xewee right now nii nu ma waxee yow nii foofu already they are out joxe neen ko ba nga xam ne léegi interview moo des pour jox ko those who were occupying Bambatenda suñ priority mooy ñëw number one and being a citizen of the Gambia pour ñu mun laa jógee form yi mu doon jar $500 ku nekk da nga jënd fooy ba pare and they are non refundable du ko delloo fekkee ne you didn't make up the interview so loolu moo fa nekk waaye they are close and nobody is occupying it ba pare nekkul ay store so duñ dee bañ rek mooy dañ dee bañ ñu joxe sob yi ba pare ñu soblet ko mooy nga jox ko keneen ñoo ko def store comme luñ am in the market of Farafenni right now recently the old market da ngaa gis somebody koo xam ne dafa jël bitig am benn bitig jël ñaar ñett luwaas ko keneen wala nga jël ay bagage nga ko fay tëj so da ngaa gis ne ñeneen dañoo accès pour jaay so da nga ko def store loolu mu am ci marché bu market bi waaye as I'm speaking with you loolu is not existing in the new market because ubbeegul ko inauguré ne ko waaye ubbeegul ko joxegul kenn and no shop is open so loolu mooy wax so moo tax mooy presque information benn is wrong wala c'est false information waaye amul benn bitig boo xam ne jox ne ko ni mu def ko magasin in the new market I mean in the new market it could be in the old market waaye the new market is not existing
ok so kañ la ñoo expect ne lii dinañ ko joxe ndax bitig si dinañ leen ubbi ñu jox ko vendor si ndaxte gaay ñun doon wax ne sax fu mu nekk nii si tali lañ nekk te óorut te am na ñoo xam ne sax yaagut sa accident mu fa bëggoon na am te loolu nekkul lu safe so kañ la ñoo expect ne lii dina ubbi
ok ñu ngi expect ne end of this month dinañ def si interview bi ba pare hand over bitig si ñoo xam ne nii war nañu la koo jox waaye problème bi mooy vendor si ñoo xam ne ñu ngi jaay si kaw tali pour fàtte ne ECOWAS ak di corridor bi dañ leen joxoon ay compensation pour gars yi war a paquet from where they are selling because óoru ngay toog si boori tali nga fay jaay ECOWAS compensé nañ ñooñu pour ñu paquet suuf jógee fa ñu jox na xaalis waaye are they still there ñoom waru fa nekk dañ war a dem dugal ci biir marché pour jaay waaye nobody is taking responsibility pour dugal ci biir marché bi dañoo dal ci kaw tali bi óoru bu accident amee ñoom lañ moo tax dafa gaañ gars yi so which is unsafe so ñun li nga wax gars yi mooy ne vendors yoo xam ne ñu ngi foofu they are not advisable pour ñu toog si kaw tali because already vendors yëpp ñun bindoon nañ liste boo xam ne dañ ko jox ECOWAS NRA ñu fay gars yi xaalis pour gars yi jógee foofu du already corridor bi dañ use gars yi seen place so ñoo war ñoo toogaat foofu definitely si biir la war a dem waaye in the help of the new market xëy na bu ñu ko ubbee ñoom dina mën a transform foofu ci bëri si gars yi pour ñu bëri pour ne apply na pour mën a am si new shops
ok papa léegi baal ñu engage Adam Ceesay VDC member Farafenni waaw Adam fooguloo na it's the responsibility of comme yéen seen liggéey la pour ngeen ne nit ñi ñu deelu ñu dugga si biir marché bi ñu jaay foog naa loolu soo gisee ñu teg luwaa ñu jël ay nit def leen suñ kanam dañ bugga pour ñu guide ñu pour ñu nekk suñ ay leaders waaye bu nekkee ne yéen da ngeen naa ne it's not the responsibility of pour gars yi toog noonu si biti ngeen bàyyeeku noonu without taking any action foog nga ne loolu tam yoon la hello Adam
hello
waaw Adam dégg nga suma question bi
waaw sa question bi dégg naa ko ma
waaw
lu ma contribution comme ça councilor bi wax about that mu nekk fu bil es boobu moom mos lu bari wallaay président fi ñu nekkee di jaay biti gi bari doon leen def stock which is on doc because ñu yaa ngi as a WCD nit ñi dañoo di ma complain ak daal ñu ngi si waa stock si ñu leen def leen stock at the end of the day store yooyu noonu ñu nguur gi nit ñi tamit marché bi njëriñ nit ñi néew nañ ñu ko def because benn nit ñaa ngi jaay ci tali bi is not safe because tali bi pour tali yi la pour moto yi la ak sareet yi benn su nekkee bi jël suñu place si bitig bi si marché bi obviously ak pour génn si tali bi ñu lal fa accident last time boobu bëggoon na fay xappoon na foo nag because amoon na moom saaraan dugg ak ñun su jaaykat yi fu ñu jaay man jaay complain ko lu dul jee ñëw na si man complain ak lu dul jee daal ne bitig yu def store benn GRA bi am nañ foofu na koom-koom wax na ko dugate because su nekkee bitig bi daf def store GRA su ñëwee pour fayeeku pour daf xaalis moo war a dugg si koom-koomi Gambia bi soo bitig bi nga tijjee koy fayeeku am koo fayeeku di ko store la waaye su nekkee nit ñëpp nit mi ngi jaay nit kooku noonu mu ngi dina fay area council bitigam bi GRA su ñëwee ci yàlla di leen fay soo def ma ne loolu yëpp li leen indi koom-koom pour suñu Gambia pour suñu réew mu jëm si kanam bitig yi moom dañ leen def stock bitig yi si biir marché bi moom dañ leen def stock benn bitig ñaari bitig bi soo amee benn bitig bi ibi benn muy def stock bu pare bi si ñëpp fan yëpp si jaaykat yi seen bopp ñëw ñëwaat amaat ko pour stock léegi nit ñaa jigéen yaa ngi si tali bi gis nga turu si vidéo bi jigéen yaa ngi noonu si tali bi di jaay bi ko soxla amul bitig
waaye Adam loolu responsibility authority bi la yow yéen councilor bi ak VDC member yi yéen seen responsibility la pour ngeen jóg ngeen seen society bi ok ñun dañ ñu jiital dañ bugg a make sure ñu génnee lii si suñ society bi ngeen ñëw ngeen indi police yi o ngeen indi any municipal police pour ñu mun a ñu move jigéen ñi yëpp fooguloo noonu la war a mel képp ku nga xam ne am na store nga jël bagage denc ko foofu noonu ngeen ubbi ko ngeen ne ko ne this is not a store if you cannot use the shop for business it's not a store some people need it.
waaw loolu dëgg.
waaw so yéen loole naa def after this.
waaw man bu gaa ñëwee complain ñëw si man ak fii ñu ne ma leen bu gaa bitig maa bitig da ne store dem naa mu kaan gaa yi di council laaj waaye lu ma wax ne ko kenn ki sonk ku ñëw dafa ma wan ne laaj mu dafa ñëw ci kas store yi waaye ñu si tax ci dee man moom maa si def ay taxaw di si yëpp reportage yoo xam ne di travaillé pour store yooyu noonu ñu suuf leen ko store yooyu noonu nekkul pour store bitig yooyu nekkul pour store
ok waaw baax na thank you very much thank you Adam Ceesay of course Papa Tunkara thank you.
waaw Balde xaaral ma ñëw ma ne.
waaw.
dafa am lu ma bëgg a leeral foofu tuuti.
waaw dafa time bi jeex na léegi. waaw mun nañoo wax lu gàtta.
waaw as the councilor man maay the ward councilor.
waaw.
at the same time double as the chairman of the PDC. before my ñëw loolu dafa xamul foofu noonu store yoo xam ne ko def so loolu mooy ak tali bi ba dee jaay pour the responsible of certain things government war a protection life and to property so ñoom waruñu wax kenn di jaay ko tali bi loo xam ne dafa cause jeopardy to the common community so loolu laa bëggoon a ébal xam naa time amul let me just stop on that so jërëjëf
waaw dinañ follow development suñ reporter yaa ngi fa dinañ ko follow then ñu seet nuñ ko defee dégg nga.
waaye nga dimbali si Alassane Tunkara moom suma bokkal.
waaw Alassane Tunkara dinaa la jox nombaam.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, thank you very much. Julde. Yes, that's Papa Tunkara and Adam Ceesay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit complicated. I mean, it's like all the sectors in the Gambia, we have problems.
The problems are everywhere, Balde, and it's high time we start to be more accountable to the people that we are serving.
Yeah. So exactly, that's it. And now, what we'll do, we will not go for a break. We'll go straight to the click segment because we are hungry for click. And it's my brother, Churchill Balde, on the driver's seat today. I mean, Churchill is the boss driver. So, over to you, Churchill.
Ebrima, pay me my money. Pay me my money.
So man guy blackmail on TV.
Famous Mahalis.
So man guy blackmail.
Wow, famous
no
Mahalis.
Click. Let's close the program. Take click Amu.
I'm not done. You know me. You personally know me. Anyways, thank you for having me. It's always fun. I'm like my family, Ebrima Jallow and Giblah Africa. What you saying, Giblah?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you're fine.
Nice.
Good to share the platform with you once again.
Alhamdulillah. Boy Churchill Ballet, like my brother said, it's the click segment right here on QTV. This morning show. And today I'm joined by a man like Giblah, the rap Khalifa. This guy, when it comes to rap, he's been here for a minute. He doesn't make most of the noise, but he's been here doing it for a very long time.
He's not a new name?
No, he's not a new name. The face is familiar. Everybody knows who Giblah is. So my guest on today's platform is Giblah. Welcome, bro.
Yeah, welcome, man. Churchill. Thanks to QTV and everybody in here.
Nice.
So I don't know what language you want me to go on, because my guy, all of them gonna dig at it.
Wow, you also then go all of it, because for now the music, you also style of music is more of Wolof.
That's it, yeah.
Wow, so for you also fan base with Nenko Wolof.
Yeah.
Wow, so like you balanga news a fancy first, balanga door interview.
Yeah, Giblah rap Khalif and QTV live, you know what I mean? Ahlan wa sahlan dahlan ak jama. Johan no pay ñu raxas yëpp. Inshallah.
Nga ne ma. You have said which? No, ragaluma lolu. So first of all, you door with the name.
Okay.
Giblah the rap Khalifa.
Yeah.
Inspiration ni tur bobu fa la joge.
Yeah, like personally, since I was a kid, dama nekkoon this kind of person boo xam ne nit yi they concentrate on me lu bari.
True.
Lu ma def ak suma team bi, whether we doing football or we doing music or we doing hunting or whatever we do.
True.
Wow, people over my people always put me in front.
Okay.
Yaa nga understand. Nit yi they concentrate si man lu bari.
Okay.
Yaa nga understand. So da nga gis ne that name Giblah is an Arabic name anyways. Comme soo ko xoolee mooy penku daal si olof. Because so demee si church tey am na foo xam ne foofu la moo jublu.
Direction.
So waaw the direction xam nga perfectly. So shortly pour nit yi understand xam nga the rap Khalif rap bi ute na comme rap bu nit ñi foog. yaa nga understand xam nga.
Okay.
Waaw comme R stands for something, A stands for something and the P stands for something xam nga.
Mun nga ñëw wax.
Yeah, represent all people and respect all people xam nga. R respect, A all people, P. Khalif comme soo xoolee si book of minds everybody yaa ngi understand muy Bible muy Quran dañ fa wax ne xam nga nit mooy xalifa yàlla si kaw suuf. So moo tax maa day wax ne yaa xam loo mu di doon weda góot nga wala gaynde nga wala nga yaa xam loo mu di doon you're below me. So that stands for the Giblah rap Khalif, you know.
Wow, because I did my research when it comes to the name, because Giblah my direction come na ko.
Exactly.
Right. And then when it comes to Khalif, Khalif Monica like njit.
Yeah.
Wow. So I did my research, and yeah. So lolu lala relate ak hip hop. Why that unique name when it comes to hip hop? Because you're a hip hop fan, and then hip hop you always try to put that creativity around your names. Yeah. So lala mengo ak hip hop.
Okay. Like comme man tey my own aspect of nu ma jëlee hip hop. Hip hop dafa nekk loo xam ne tey man loolu laay emphasize.
True.
te nit mun loo bàyyi sa aada. uti leneen.
True.
yaa ngi understand. So man ba pare da nga gis ne dama jël diine mu nekk loo xam ne dafa nekk a foundation to me.
Okay.
yaa ngi understand bugguma mu nekk loo xam ne ëllëg musique dafa tax ba ma fàtte ko wala ma bàyyi ko gannaaw. understand nga moo tax ma jël that name moo surroundé ko suma boppa pour nga xam ne anywhere ëllëg su ma bëggee génn out of the circle like my name will remind me ne hey this is what you are. yaa ngi understand so. waaw foofu laa ko kacc rek. yaa ngi understand ba pare tey bëgg naa dem ba nga xam ne I will be selling my Gambian culture or my Senegambian culture or my African culture inside Europe or Africa or Scandinavia or anywhere because tey even though hip hop laay def mënuma dem America bëgg a jaay 50 cent sol jean bu seer wala chain bling ak yu loolu is their culture.
That's their culture. You have your own culture.
Yeah, I cannot win them with that.
True.
yaa nga understand. But if I bring my Giblah rap Khalif yaa nga understand mu nekk loo xam ne it is a culture from my African people, my Gambian people. I can sell that out and I think it will bring something. So loolu moo indi affaire yaa nga.
Where the music is commercial.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you need all the finances.
Exactly.
But I love the comme nu nekk di branding sa bopp because if you don't have that identity bro then la gaaw a fàtte.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So léegi yow when it comes to Gambian music, you have a vast knowledge because you've been there for a while. This is one of them OGs. Understand? So how do you see the Gambian music, especially when it comes to hip hop? Your own genre.
Okay, like gars yi dañ teel a solal hip hop benn façon mbuba boo xam ne comme not everybody is like that. yaa nga understand because what Gambian people believe is if you don't put insults in your songs soo saagutee rek yow defloo hip hop or soo waxutee lu bon rek defloo hip hop nekkuloo di rap yaa nga understand or soo solutee lu ñanga or soo xam nga mentality boobu loolu old age la loolu comme dafa because jamono boobu loolu rek nga mun a emphasize affaire yi because hip hop si boppam dafa sosoo si loo xam ne struggle la struggle boo xam ne comme these black people or these white people everything was coming out of them so they were using hip hop yaa nga understand pour emphasize la moo nekk seen xoli yaa ngi understand so loolu moo indi hip hop ba nga xam ne tey jamono dafa change nag so da nga gis ne tey ñun lu ñu gën a sonal Gambia mooy comme ne ko hip hop kese sax but dañ def this sub shops comme dañ def parloo in yaa ngi understand in loo xam ne comme
am naa fa yow
yeah xam nga fu ma waxee like even if you go to politics te da nga gis Gambia kii dafa xaman si kii laa far even soo voté kële sax su la óoree ne kii is gonna do good but parce que farloo si moom rek yaa not gonna vote for him or her loolu moo influence sun music even anywhere you go in Gambia, all departments.
There's segregation in the Gambian music.
Absolutely.
Well, so, but I know them put answer music video shortly. I'm going to answer my question. When it comes to Yen Sen generation, Yen Sen generation right now, there's no much of work coming from Yen Sen ends and Nyom Sen ends. The newer generation is more of them. So I don't know. Problem is it Yen Tolen guy or Nyom they feel like Nyom sorry. Right now because you're one of them OGs come
yeah like xam nga tey ñoom ne dañ ñëw def seen benn kabudu boo xam ne like even if you organizing shows you'll be passing people like maybe man moom no problem yaa nga understand man dama believe ne doomu aadama moom si loo war a bokk rek ngay bokk man amoo problème boobu xam nga but am nañu believe outside ñoo xam ne maa gars yi ñoo nekk in the same circle boo xam ne comme our circle is even bigger than theirs, but ñoom dañ jël affaire yi rek def ko benn kaburu bu ndaw they will be inviting them between themselves yaa nga di invite ñoomi neen di def collab ñoomi neen yaa nga understand mu nekk loo xam ne loolu yóbbul Gambian music kanam xam nga
dañoo taxaw
nekkul ñëpp ñoo mun a taxaw góorgóorlu ne hey even without this guy man I'll go nekkul ñëpp ñoo am belief boobu yaa nga understand dafa sonalaate because xam nga te soo ko seetloo am the last man standing maybe yaa nga understand because man maybe my guy and you want some of them. Yeah, I understand because man, I remember T-Small's time, but more def musical. Time of Alliance Franco, more here in Gambia. True. Bala start again. It was Alliance Franco. T-Small's moment they invite. Madam perform musical time of. I struggle on the ground with you. I was doing rap battles. True. You understand. True. Kon am na lu bari lu ma xam ci musique Gambia. Ñu bari fi lañ ma fekk.
Yow bul wor yow téye fa sa baaraam. Fatal ma foofu comme ni ko gars yi waxee. Ba ñu dem seetaan sa music video and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're back.
Wow, we're back. So, like, still continue with the interview. Guy name prepare the music video and shortly guy name is it. So, what are some of the projects that you've worked so far? Come young projects nga jota drawback.
Yeah, man as an artist am na ñaari mixtape, am na ñetti EP. Te bu ma def dama ko dee launch. Okay. In good venues, yeah, understand. Xam nga. Léegi somehow the crowd is that much good, sometimes mediocre.
Wow.
That doesn't stop us from working. Yeah,
true.
Understand? Because guy, we can even have more than that.
True.
Everybody will get we can go as a whole, like Gambia as a country. You understand? Yeah. But I have this my album coming. You understand? Mu wara nek album bo xamne xam nga Gambia musta gis rapper def lolu. I'm not bragging. Man lu ma ci rap dam ko def.
Lolu téré la dé.
Yeah, I'm not bragging.
Nga dem wa?
Yeah. Comme Gambia musta gis rapper. Waxuma la comme
so mu nga ñoo jox tuuti ci lu ñu expect kon.
Yeah, like ñom man mo minuma Baku or that much, you understand? But this is the artistic way that I can use to emphasize myself. You understand? But I'm gonna bring an album bohame that consists like even more than 8 songs. You understand? Okay. Gambian be naturally ridiculous songs.
That's our problem.
Then you pick bena bohame, wala ñaar yo xamne yoy lañ min. Ba pare gaay di ko promote lolu. You understand? So man buguma duga ci that mistake. Okay. Creating album bo xamne mo ngi am ay 20 songs. Who are you competing with? Ya nga exhaust sa mind bi xam nga. They don't even know that. So da nga gis ne man bëgguma dugg ci lolu. But nekuma di wax sa the limit of songs comme like number of songs comme ma ngay wax what's gonna be inside the songs. Ya nga understand?
I just can't wait because no ko nekk di put it right now. So bëgg naa ñu am a freestyle session. Understand women. Gars nañu isala that bill ñu am a freestyle session. But bala ñu dem ci freestyle session bi. Dama bëgg pour nga sensitize the people that are watching, especially the younger generation. Yan mistake ngeen def. Yoo xam ne comme ñoom upcoming comme bëgg leen gaay def mistake yooyu noonu.
Waaw man mistake bu ma gaay bëgg ñu def mooy man dama ci teel a jànga. Okay. Maybe munna say wana sa dama ci later jànga.
Okay, freestyle section quick. We are out of time now.
Okay. Yeah. Give me the bit. Let's go with the freestyle session. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Damay dem te doo ma yëg ma tas sa xol te doo ma laal bugguma xam ma doy na sëkk man la lébu bi toog ci gaal xamoon naa ne bala ma dem dafay tar gisoon naa ne foog ma ñëw kiif tiwitee dinaa fi xar ñi may seetaan Giblah rap xalif moo teg seeni kanam ci bii anam ci bii xaram yow yaa gën a xame sama xar xanam yeah that's what's up bugguma cee dugal lu bëri yeah I would say a big thanks to everybody comme ñi ma seetaan that's a very good sister to me. Maybe not that much. We came from the same place. Cameraman, you understand. Yeah. And everybody who's watching, and shouts to you too, because of this little time, man, man, Lurela. True. You understand because we develop a new neck. Shouts to everybody. You don't say that. Yep. Watch out for Giblah Rap Khalif. The album is coming out. Rap Khalif. Brah. Buragal Lulu.
Nice. It was nice having you. Come jangin out Fini. Understand what I mean? That was all I had for you on the Click segment. Till I come your way tomorrow. Just keep like more coming your way.